European directives prevailed over international agreement and treaty. In other words, in Spain, there are other priorities, among them border control is marked by the European Union. Due to its geographical location in south of Europe, Spain is the most southwest border of the European Union, receives immigrants mainly from Africa and Latin America, but while those from America are more controllable because they come by plane, the same is not true of Africa or even Asian, which have different clandestine routes to enter. The control this migratory flow is sometimes a priority over people. In this context, the victims are seen as irregular immigrants, not as victims of trafficking. Today, despite the fact is not publicly recognized, migration control still prevails over detention identification victim of trafficking. In fact, there have been very serious cases of women and girls go unnoticed as victims. For example, the Evelyn case. She was Nigerian. Her trafficker threatened to hand her daughter into prostitution when she arrived in Spain. One of the times she went out and left her little girls. She was beaten up and left with cerebral palsy. When she arrived and saw her daughter in that state, she took her to hospital running, and the hospital, the health worker thought that she has mistaken her daughter. They put her in prison on threat of abuse and took custody of her daughter. I was in prison, done an education, listened to Evelyn, discovered that she was a victim of trafficking. Little by little, attention and protection for victims is being contemplated, but is still a dependent subject. For challenges, prosecute the crime of trafficking by protecting victims without requiring their testimony. In Spain, the legal system requires that when there is a crime against people, the victim must report it and testify against the aggressor. European directives and international recommendations indicate that the victim state should be dispensed with. This is not possible in Spain. It's necessary for victims to deny and declare, but this occurs on few occasions due to various circumstances. The victims are afraid of the trafficker and even trust them more than the judicial and police system because traffickers are the same nationality and the same ethnicity. Sometimes the police pressure victims to report, and if they don't do, the police can apply law on forensics, which means deportation. They end up being known among women by word of mouth. They don't trust the police. Only in more serious situations do the victim denies, because they value what happened differently without considering it a crime. The other part they may with one word, but which they must honor. The police and judicial investigation need to be based on other evidence, not the victim statement. We must investigate the access, The money that the trafficker move no focus on the victims, who have suffered a lot. Five challenges. Avoid the trafficking phenomenon in favor of Provenance police on prostitution. I don't like prostitution. I don't consider it job. In my research, I have lived 10 days in 5 brothels in Spain with the woman. I know well how to work, but we have to think about the woman. I think about the women who are practicing prostitution, about their health, about not harming them. In this moment in Spain, there is an important debate about what legal treatment prostitution should have. Currently, prostitution is neither regulated nor prohibited. Only forced prostitution, sexual exploitation, and trafficking are criminal offenses. The crime is aggravated if the victim is a minor. Prostitution in the street is sanctioned in many Spanish cities. There is an important confrontation between activists, feminists, academics, and intellectuals with very opposing positions and use ideological argument without record data support it. In this sense, it said, all prostitutes are victims of trafficking. There are more and more victims of trafficking. Or Spanish men are the ones who pay more for sex in Europe. All these issues are not true. In fact, Sue will publish an article that questions all this. Why are these arguments used without data and without rigor? Because they want to justify Provenance policies, especially the Swedish model of prostitution that punishes the client. I think this is a mistake because the men who pay are the first to see a victim. We should educate them, raise their awareness so they detect the victim and report them. In Spain, more one network of traffickers has been dismantled thanks to the denunciations of clients, and the Spanish police know this. It's not only Provenance policies that are demanding, but also migration control police, because the majority of women in prostitution and those who are trafficked are foreigners. In this, an important debate and discussion, and perhaps my limited English doesn't allow me to explain adequately. Finally, and conclude, there are still aspects that we have to improve and investigate, such as trafficking for purposes of labor exploitation or trafficking for some routes. Asian is one. This is my research agenda for the next few years. I hope to have Arun on board. Thank you very much for your attention and for putting up my awful English. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Carmen. Hello.
Thank you, Carmen. And I think about
trafficking Spain.
Spain.
And
And Spain is
Spain is actually
working as a
working as a
I don't
all Europe.
all Europe.
Can you hear
Can you hear
me?
me?
I'm
I'm
audible.
audible.
Arun, I don't hear I don't hear good.
Carmen, I'm audible. I'm audible.
Sorry?
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Carmen, and for your wonderful presentation. And you have clearly said that how the problem of human trafficking in Spain and in other part of the Europe, and that Spain is now you can store or the human trafficking problem, because many the victims of human trafficking from Africa, from Asia, and they're passing to the Spain, and now they get spread throughout the world. So uh, is doing more to prevent or to combat the human trafficking, especially in the southern border of Spain. They have to do more working, especially in the African countries. And I think that also, the many of our, the resource person also, they have questioned many times prior to this
Arun, I don't hear good. Arun? Sorry, I don't hear good. Not clear. The sound is not clear. I don't hear. Thank you. I don't hear.
Hello, Professor Falcon. Sorry, I think there is some problem in Arun sir's laptop, but I'm his PhD scholar, and I will be moderating if until he's really available. I'm sorry for this disruption. There is some internet problem happening. Are you able to hear me?
I don't. Arun, is possible you help me?
Hi. Yes, he is there, but just we have to wait for like 5 minutes. Yes, he's there. He's here.
Arun, I don't hear good. I don't understand good. Is possible, Arun, you help me? What's the question?
Yes. Can I give you the questions what the participant have put on about the presentation?
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't hear.
Okay. Can you send me the question, or can you tell me the questions?
The questions are on the right hand side in the chat box, sir. You can like see it. Ms. Dharana Mishra, she has put the question, and Mr. Jokhan Sharma, he also put a one question.
Okay. Yes, thank you, Jharna. La pregunta de Jharna es, Carmen,
¿Sí?
¿la política migratoria de España es diferente de otros países de Europa?
No.
¿La política migratoria de España es
Yeah.
diferente de otra parte de Europa?
Okay. In Spain, the migration policies is the same on European Union because it's marked for European Unions. Before Spain into the European Unions, no problem the flow migration, immigration. Spain begin problem when into the European Union because it's necessary in Spain put the same policies, migration policies, okay? And is in North Europe mark the policies for Spain. Okay, I understand me. I don't heard.
Okay. The migration policy of Spain is similar to other European countries. As far as I understand.
I don't heard.
You can hear me?
I don't.
Technical issue because last few years it is raining here in western part of Odisha. So we are trying to connect. In fact, the university internet is not functioning, so we are connecting through our mobile and the the Geo. So, but still there's some problem. Anyway,
I don't hear. They not so good.
okay. Now, can you hear?
The audio are not clear. I don't hear good.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Sorry?
Yes, Carmen?
See, I don't hear good.
শুনি পারছো?
Sorry?
Hello, can you hear me?
See?
I'm audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Okay.
I don't hear. The sound is not clear. I don't hear. Okay. ¿Sí?
Carmen.
Sí. Sí.
Mira, mejor te hablo por WhatsApp y tú cierra tu micrófono para que no se escuche doble. Ok. Ok, no te preocupes, no te preocupes. Sí, yo te oigo. ¿Puede conectarlo nuevamente? O, next question.
Sí, online no sé.
Aula question करना?
Toda la que son tú.
Okay, okay. I'm going to the Dr. Hrusikesh Mayer. He has raised one question. Okay, so I'm going to tell her in Spanish so that if you tell, when you answer, I'm going to translate in English. Es que hay otra persona que pregunta que cómo todo lo que está pasando, la política que está educando, está dando la política, la policía española, ¿por qué la gente de española no tiene confianza en la policía, sobre todo en el caso de la trata? Okay. Okay, the question. Sí, voy a traducir en inglés. Okay, the question raised by Dr. Hrusikesh Mayer is let us clarify how the victims in Spain do not have faith on police, no? So Carmen is saying that actually the Spanish government is now looking more or working more on the migration problem in the southern border, especially the people who are coming from the Africa or people who are coming from the Asia. So the one question is that still there is some, the confusion between how to distinguish the migration issues and the trafficking issues, because sometimes the trafficking is much more complicated compared to the migration issue. So the first thing is that what I understand from discussion with Carmen now, she is saying that it is very difficult that police can distinguish who is the trafficking victims and who is a migrated person. So that's why many times the people who migrated, they also categorize sometimes as the victims of the trafficking. So that's why many times the people that don't believe this categorization of the general migration and the victims of migration, victims of human trafficking.
Thank you, Aaron.
Okay, there is another question regarding the child trafficking in Spain. sobre la trata de los niños y cómo están los ONGs y gobierno y la sociedad civil, cómo están trabajando sobre rehabilitación y cómo están ayudando a estos niños. Hay una pregunta sobre los trata de los niños. Sí, sí.
Ok, vamos a ver, la protección a menores en España como en el resto de Europa es muy importante. Entonces, ante la más mínima sospecha de un menor pueda ser víctima de trata, inmediatamente es protegido. Inmediatamente el Estado se hace cargo de ello. El problema es distinguir muy claramente qué es menor. Hay un problema importante en España que es datar su edad. Y entonces las pruebas sociométricas que se realizan para datar la edad fallan. Y hay veces que se puede poner como mayor de edad a alguien que tiene 17 años o viceversa. Entonces, este es uno de los problemas importantes, distinguir clarísimamente, primero, qué es menor y segundo, qué es víctima de trata, porque también hay otro movimiento de inmigrantes menores no acompañados. En cualquiera de los dos casos, el Estado inmediatamente tiene la labor de protección a los menores, tanto en España como en todo el resto de Europa. Y hay una especial atención a todo lo que son víctimas de trata que sean menores. De hecho, el número de víctimas de trata menores es muy pequeño en España y en el resto de la Unión Europea. Hay países que puede ser un poco mayor, por ejemplo, los de Europa del Este.
Okay, thank you, Carmen. Yeah, okay, what Carmen is saying regarding the child trafficking, when the government is separate or come to know that she is a child, then definitely the Spanish government, they take care. They immediately they send to the shelter home and the government take care. But the problem is that in Spain there is very few cases have been documented on the child trafficking. The major problem of this documentation is the who is child. Many times, when the child or the children they enter to the Spanish territory, they do not have any paper. Okay, they don't have their date of birth certificate. So it is very difficult to say who is child or who is not a child. No, so the main problem is that how to distinguish who is child or not child. The second thing is that how can you distinguish whether he or she is a traffic victims? Because many times they just enter to the Spanish territory, and when they come across the police, so it is very difficult for police to say that he or she is a trafficking victims. The another one is, no, as I said, okay, the another one is the many times they come alone, they're from the Africa or from the Asian countries, and that's why the police or the government has no authority. They do not have any person to inquire what is the exact age of the child or the children. So that is the major problem the Spanish government is having. But once they find out the victims is a child, immediately they send to the shelter home or shelter house, and he or she taken care of by the government. Okay, I hope that there is another question by Johan Sharma. Él pregunta que en qué país en España hay mayor migrantes ilegales. ¿Perdón? No, en España, ¿de qué país hay mayor migrantes ilegales? Yeah. Mhm.
Esto es debido en parte, fundamentalmente, a la situación de crisis económica en España.
Okay, thank you. Okay, the question put by Johan Sharma: from which country has highest number of illegal migrants entered in Spain? So Professor Carmen is saying that basically migrants from the sub-Saharan Africa are the majority who enter to the Spain, but you know they enter to the Spain because Spain is a transit country. Their main destination is France. But nowadays these migrants, they don't want to stay. Earlier there were a few of them, they were they were staying in Spain, but now they are going is France and other part of Europe because of the financial crisis going in Spain. Okay. Okay, there is another question by Sukumar Pal. Can you discuss the nature and extent of human trafficking and what are the different types of human trafficking and its percentage? Okay, hay otra persona que pregunta cuál es la naturaleza de trata de personas en España y los diferentes tipos de las tratas.
Ok, fundamentalmente es trata con fines de explotación sexual y secundariamente de explotación laboral. Ahora bien, yo creo que es más visible y se persigue más la trata con fines de explotación sexual que la laboral. Y que la laboral es mucho mayor en sectores como agricultura, como servicio doméstico o como manufacturas, pero que está menos detectada, menos identificada, ¿no? Pero fundamentalmente la que tiene que ver con explotación sexual.
Okay, what Professor Carmen is saying, in Spain, the major part of the human trafficking victims are for the sexual exploitation, and very few all for the labor exploitation. But in Spain, the sexual exploitation is more visible compared to the labor exploitation. The labor exploitation, basically the people, the victims in labor exploitation, they work in the agricultural sectors, and some of them they also work in as a domestic servants. Okay, so but you know the Spain, the major part of the victims, they are the sexual exploitation. Okay, there is another question about how much successful are the rehabilitation centers. ¿Hasta qué punto los centros de rehabilitación han tenido éxito?
Perdón, ¿hasta qué punto han tenido éxito? ¿El qué?
Éxito.
Sí, pero el qué es no he cogido bien, no te he oído bien. ¿Qué es lo que...?
En proceso de rehabilitación.
Ok, vale. Vamos a ver, las víctimas en general no se reconocen como víctimas. Entonces, son aquellas que han sufrido mucho las que piden entrar en un dispositivo de atención. Y en general los dispositivos de atención que hay en España, ya sean de residencia o sean de atención ambulatoria, funcionan relativamente bien. Y hay un sector yo diría que un porcentaje importante de muchas de estas mujeres acaban incorporándose a la sociedad española. Las mínimas vuelven a su país. Y luego hay otras que en principio entran en los dispositivos, pero vuelven otra vez a la calle a ejercer la prostitución, ¿no? Han sido tan dañadas con el tema de la prostitución que se incorporan a la dinámica de prostitución que pueda haber en España.
Okay. What Professor Carmen is saying, the rehabilitation process in Spain, in many cases, it is successful because once the victims they come out from the rehabilitation centers, many of them they are re-entered to the society, and now they are living with their family, with their children, and in fact the Spanish government has also given the work to them. So it is for the Spanish victims. But when it is the foreigners, there's once the rehabilitation process complete, they send to the victims to their origin country, and then probably what she is saying, probably the origin country, they take care of the second process of rehabilitation. Okay, there is another question. Probably this is the last question. Hay algunos casos de trata para el matrimonio en España.
Sí. Generalmente son casos que vienen de la Europa del Este, fundamentalmente de Rumanía, Hungría, sobre todo de etnia gitana, y algunos casos que vienen del norte de África. Sobre todo, generalmente son menores y en general se suele controlar. Es decir, el tema de los menores está bastante protegido, y especialmente a las niñas, y se suele controlar bastante, ¿no? Pero son casos minoritarios.
Okay. Okay, the question raised by Madan Pillai, is there any bridal trafficking cases in Spain? Okay, Professor Carmen is saying yes, but the cases are very few. But she said that many victims from the East Europe and the North Africa, basically they are minor in age, so they get engaged with the Spanish male, and they come to the Spain. So she's saying that when it is minor in age, it is very easy to control the victims. So, but yes, there is some cases in the bridal trafficking, but the cases are very few. Okay, so there are many questions. So one question is this is the last question that we are taking. The Bikram Kumar Jaina, how financial crisis affect on human trafficking in Spain? La pregunta es, ¿cómo la crisis financiera está afectando la trata en España?
Bueno, pues de muchas maneras. Ahora mismo España va a tener una crisis económica importante, ¿no? Y muy probablemente cuando las situaciones de crisis se ha producido, en general, sin ser situación de trata, simplemente los inmigrantes se retornan a su país o se marchan a otro país europeo. En este caso, con la crisis tan grande que se avecina en España por todo el COVID-19, es muy probable que muchas de estas víctimas no sean productivas en España y sean trasladadas a otros países europeos. Aparte que puede haber un recorte importante en los programas de atención a las víctimas. No obstante, el tema migratorio recibe fondos europeos y muy probablemente las políticas europeas, las políticas de control migratorio van a seguir estando. Entonces, puede ser una situación complicada para las víctimas. Y yo creo que, como en otras crisis que ha habido en España, España volverá a tener un papel más de tránsito de las víctimas más que de destino.
Okay. What Professor Carmen is saying, the financial crisis, definitely it is affecting to the in the process of trafficking of women and children. The Spain is a destination country and it is a transit country for the trafficking victim from the Africa and from the Europe. So this financial crisis probably is going to, many of these victims, they are not going to stay in the Europe, maybe they, in Spain, they are going to move to other countries of Europe, the first thing. The second thing, what she is saying, that the financial crisis, it is not going to affect because of the financial crisis is going to happen because of this COVID-19. So it is not going to reduce the migration flow basically from the Africa. So her comment is that Spain is not going to be a favorable destination country for the migrants or for the trafficking victims, and maybe in the near future is going to be only a transit country for the migrants and the trafficking victims. So definitely the financial crisis is going to affect both the migration and the victims of human trafficking. Okay, so we have many other questions. So due to the time constraint, we are not able to take, but definitely we are going to share Professor Carmen presentation. We are going to put it in our Facebook, in university Facebook and university website, and definitely we are going to share her email ID. So if you have any questions, then you can write to her. And I must thank our resource person, Professor Carmen, taking time. It's very early morning for her, but when I invite her, she didn't hesitate to participate in this international webinar. I'm sure her presentation has created lots of debate and give so many information what happening, basically the migration and human trafficking problem in Spain, in particular in Europe. So I also thanks to all our participants for their patience and raising the questions, creating these events more livable. So tomorrow we have another presentation by Dr. Charles from the University of Illinois, Chicago, and he is going to present on global characteristics of commercial and sexual exploitation of children. And just remember, he is from the United States, and he is going to present at 9 a.m. So I request all participants, the interested participants, so get connected by 8:45, and we are going to start the presentation definitely by 9 a.m. So thank you very much, Professor Carmen, and all participants. Namaskar.
Thank you very much. Yeah.